Hey there everyone, how we all doing? Today we're finally going to be getting that next DLC release for Titanfall 2, Operation Frontier Shield. This is going to comprise Frontier Defense and all the other cool stuff coming along with it. So we have some patch notes from JFresh here. Wanted to go ahead and run through these with you guys and give you my opinions on what I think is good, what I think is bad, how I think the game is going to change based upon all of these new notes. So let's go ahead and get started. We got Frontier Defense, obviously. We talked about that yesterday. Lots of different difficulty levels you can choose. You can play with your friends on easy, regular, hard, master. There's going to be an insane difficulty in the featured mode spot, so wherever you would used to see CTF Nitro or Iron LTS, things like that, it'll be in that box. You can click on that and play the insane mode once every now and then. So it'll be a very exclusive thing. That's actually kind of cool. It's almost like I don't know, it's almost like MMO content where you're playing like a raid or something and you have a limited time to do it and you're trying to race to get like that insane victory before time runs out or whatever. I don't know how MMOs work. Maybe the race is more when the raid is brand new and people are trying to hit the leaderboards, but whatever. I mean, there's still kind of that same itch is being scratched, right? You're trying to hit that insane difficulty. You're trying to hit that super hard mission as quickly as possible. So it seems really, really cool to me. Aegis ranks. So Aegis ranks are something I can finally talk about. Basically, as you play more and more Frontier Defense, you will earn what's called Aegis ranks, and those will level up your Titans exclusively for Frontier Defense. So there's a lot of upgrades for your Titan that you're going to be getting that are exclusive to that mode, like multiple shots for Scorch, or, you know, I'm not going to go and spoil everything. I'll let you guys go ahead and see for yourselves once the mode actually comes out very soon here, but there's a lot of really, really cool stuff that is meant specifically and only for Frontier Defense to make your Titan super duper strong so you have a better chance at winning the super hard difficulties. It's going to be an absolute requirement if you're wanting to play Insane, I think. So we have confirmation that only a few maps are going to be supported here. We have Homestead, Kodai, Wargames, Rise, Blackwater, Canal. Only 5 maps you can play right now. Over time, they're going to be adding every single map into the game. At least, well, not the live fire maps, obviously, but all the regular maps will be added to Frontier Defense over the next few months, but it's just a huge undertaking trying to program AI to work correctly on all these maps and do what they want it to do and balancing everything correctly and yada, yada, yada. So they're only doing a few for now. More will come later. We also have the return of classic music. So once you win 10 matches of Frontier Defense, you can get Titanfall 1 lobby music and Titanfall 1 Frontier Defense music if you so choose, which is really, really awesome. I've been wanting this for a whole, 2 hours now, and I'm very excited to see it happen. It's not something that anyone asked for or expected to happen, but they just kind of tossed it in, and I'm super duper happy about it. I'm really happy that Respawn has the rights to reuse that music in this game, because that's a big reason why they can't reuse a lot of the voiceover and voice acting from grunts and attrition and stuff like that from Titanfall 1 is, I'm sure that voice actor strikes have to do with it, and mostly it's probably a licensing issue. So I'm really happy that they were able to get, I assume from Steve Barton, I'm assuming that they were able to license this or relicense it for Titanfall 2. It's really, really nice. New map Rise, cool. You guys know what Rise is. If you don't, then shame on you. You should have played Titanfall 1, you filthy casual. No, I'm just kidding. But Rise, 3-lane map, really, 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 really tall walls everywhere, so it's great for pilot mobility. It's a very pilot-centric map. Titans have a kind of difficult time shooting pilots out of the sky because they're just running so fast straight over their heads that Titans struggle a little bit. So it's actually a really cool map. It's one of my favorites from Titanfall 1 in the sense that you have the freedom to go wherever you want. You can go just do whatever you want pretty much at any time. There's zip lines, there's all those walls. You have so much mobility, so many options, and the interiors are very small and very low in value. So most people, if they decide to sit in there and camp in there and be scrubs in there, that's fine, but they're not going to do anything, right? They have to leave those buildings to really accomplish stuff. If they try to peek out the windows and shoot grunts from below, or rather shoot grunts from above, they're not going to have a whole lot of success. They're going to need to leave those buildings and move around like a real person in order to actually succeed in this map. So for all you console players out there, all you PC players out there alike, who really hate camping in this game, who feel like Titanfall 2 is a game all about mobility, and when you see camping, when you hear camping, it makes your blood boil, this map will serve you well. We've also got Township, a new live fire map. We saw a little bit of it. More live fire maps is cool. I have no real opinions on it until we actually get to play it because I've never played it before. So it's impossible to have a valid opinion on a map when all I have is a few seconds of video about it. So we'll see once it actually gets released here. Elite weapon skins. So these are essentially the war paints for both your weapons and your Titans. Now, they're going to cost you $5 each or $25 US for the bundle of all the pilot weapons. And then for the Titan war paints, it's also $5 each and $25 for the bundle. So if you want to get all the new cosmetics coming into the game with this update, you need to spend $50. That is ridiculous. That is way too high of a price. No one is going to buy that. I am one of the most diehard veteran Titanfall fans there is, and that is ridiculous. I'm not spending $50 on that. So I might pick up this car skin for $5 just because I like the car a lot. It's probably one of my favorite guns. I kind of want to pick up this EVA 8 skin, but I'm questioning whether or not I'm really going to be able to even see and appreciate the artwork on it in the first-person view, because just looking at it, I kind of think I might not be able to, so I don't know. We'll see about this one. I'm going to kind of wait and see for someone else to buy it, and if they kill me with it, then I'll look at it and see, is that kind of visible enough that I want to buy it or not? I'm not really sure at this moment. For Titan War Paints, I don't know that I'll buy any of them, but we'll see. I just can't justify spending $50 on this game when it costs like $30 or $20. It just seems a little much. As much as I love Respawn, that just seems a little high. So yeah, I probably won't be buying those. And these skins also are going to give you extra XP, extra Aegis points and stuff. So it's kind of a requirement almost if you want to progress quickly and get to the high difficulty levels quickly, that you give Respawn the $5 tax in order to do that, which honestly, it's not that big of a deal. This content is coming out for free, and it's not a requirement to buy this stuff. And if you buy this stuff, you can also help your teammates out as well. If you get extra XP, then they do as well. So it's kind of an interesting strategy where Respawn is trying to get a couple dollars out of you so you can maximize your amount earned versus your time spent, only for a couple of bucks, which is fine, right? They're doing a lot of work to make this mode, and giving them a couple of bucks to support them for it is a good thing, and I will definitely be doing that, but $50 is a little nuts. So yeah, that's kind of where I stand on that. Now we got some balance changes. So the biggest thing here that I'm really excited about is that Ogre class Titans now have that baseline 1 dash, and that's going to have a 10-second cooldown. Normally I believe it was 8, so if you choose not to run Turbo Engine, you will always at least have that 1 baseline dash, and then if you do run Turbo Engine, that'll reduce it to 5 seconds instead of 10 seconds. So really good for Scorch and Legion. They can finally run Overcore if they so choose, and that's really, really nice, because a lot of the times when you're playing Scorch in particular, it's really hard to consistently get that core up without your Titan becoming doomed or really, really close to being doomed. And you only get that 1 core per life before you die. Legion was a little different because you can actually engage people from far away and get core meter from far away, so Legion could get 2-3 smart cores in a life and not even care. But Scorch in particular had a lot of trouble getting more than 1 flame core, so this will absolutely help him in that aspect. Really, really excited to see how this ends up working out for him. Overcore also got nerfed again. It's down to 20% core buff, so I don't remember where we started with Overcore when the game first came out, if it was at 15% or 20% or what, but we're returning to launch with Overcore, and we're really better off because Overcore has been too ubiquitous, too powerful. It has been the only selection for the majority of Titans for the majority of the game's lifetime, and even if it may not be the best thing for the game in general, that's kind of impossible to say, right, factually, but let's just assume that it's not the best thing for the game. It's okay because Overcore has been so dominant for so long that a little shakeup of the meta is going to be healthy, just to at least keep people interested for a little while. So we'll have to play with this Overcore 20% and see, is that good enough to still be selected, or is it so bad that you don't pick it anymore? I don't think that'll be the case. I think Overcore at 20% will be just fine. It might still be actually a pretty strong pick. I still think I'm going to take Overcore in the majority of my Titans, but who knows? Like for Scorch, I might not take it. I might still take Turbo Engine just to get the 5-second dash, because that seems really strong. An Ogre with 5-second dashes, especially Scorch, that could be solid. So Overcore nerfs are good for the game, probably. A lot of people are going to be sad about it, but I think overall it's probably healthy. Electric Smoke unlocks at 20 instead of 25%. That just means so if you use Overcore, you get your Electric Smoke as soon as you get in your Titan. That's kind of the whole point. They want that interaction to remain, so sure, whatever, why not? Ronin, sword block damage reduction is reduced by 5%. So you have to be very careful with how you read this one, because a lot of people are underestimating the change that this makes. So let me give you the most clear example that I can. When you're in Sword Core as Ronin and you're blocking, so if you're holding your sword block while having Sword Core active, you take 10% of the normal damage you would take. So let's say that for every 100,000 damage you would take, you're taking what, like 10,000, right? So you have to take 10 Titans worth of damage in order to die, essentially. 10 Atlases worth of damage, 10 Ions, 10 Tones worth of damage in order to kill a Sword Core Sword Block Ronin from 100% down to 0. Now, that reduction, or rather that amount of damage that you take as Ronin, is going to be 15% instead of 10%. So you're looking at a very, very massive change in the grand scheme of things. You're looking at roughly 50% difference. So it's going to take you a lot less, rather you're not going to be able to absorb anywhere near as much damage. It's going to be very, very nuts how this actually ends up working out. I saw someone else mathing it out, and they were saying that before, if you took 75,000 damage, then now after this change, you can only take 50,000 damage. So I probably should have used that example from the beginning, because I know better than to try and do math live. But yeah, that'll be something. Next up, we have Scorch. So Scorch's firewall width is being increased, and I am not so sure about this one. That's going to be kind of okay for helping Scorch's firewall to feel more effectual. It'll make it feel like when enemies get stuck in it or trapped in it, that they're actually going to take some damage, and they can't just walk out of it and take less than half a bar and not even care about it. So this will help some consistency, but I am worried that if you use Firewall while trying to pursue enemies, which is totally possible and reasonable to do, by the way, that it will make it harder for Scorch to drop a Firewall and then run around his Firewall and continue chasing his opponent, which is a strategy that I used quite often in my Scorch play. When running through a tight hallway, it seems like now I'm going to be a little bit more scared on using the Firewall aggressively like that, because I might not be able to walk the left side of the lane while I have a Firewall occupying the right side and not take damage myself unless I'm running the new and improved tempered plating kit. So I don't know. This is all conspiracy theory. I've not played with this yet. I don't know what it's going to actually feel like. It's not out in the game yet, so we'll have to see how much wider it gets. But I really hope that if I choose not to use tempered plating, that I can still make those small lane chases with the Firewall down doing damage and not killing myself in the process. Now, we also have Wildfire Launcher being buffed, so the direct hit damage is going to be increased. You still have those same 3 gobs of fire drop down just like you did before, but the direct hit damage is much, much better now. So that's going to be really cool. I'm going to be excited to play with that one and try to get some really good long-range shots on people, because it does feel like sometimes when you get that fire to actually stick to somebody, when you get lucky, you're doing better than North Star levels of damage on a very quick peak, even if you're an ogre. So I'm really excited to give that a try and see how that actually ends up playing out in the real game, because the Wildfire Launcher is a kit that I do like. It is one that I enjoy playing if I'm playing a more passive Scorch style, which is hard to play, but it can work. So with the buffs here through this Thermite Launcher, it's going to feel a whole lot better sniping people with that launcher. So really good stuff. Scorched Earth, the upgrade to Scorch's core ability. The fire now lasts longer, which is really, really good, because before it was very small and piddly, right? You would throw the firewall out, or rather you would throw the flame core out, and it would drop those 3 firewalls down, and it almost seemed like they would burn out before they even reached the termination of the length of the wall. They just didn't last very long at all. They were not capable of very much damage at all. Respawn QA was adamant that it was a good ability, but I don't know what version of Titanfall they were playing, but in the live version where actual people were actually playing this, it was pretty horrible and pretty unusable. So hopefully this buff makes it a little bit more passable. This should be fantastic for Frontier Defense because 1 core is going to definitely equal many dead enemy titans, so I'm cool with that. I'm very, very, very cool with that. Tempered Plating now makes Scorch immune to crits and his own thermite damage. Bravo, Respawn. We've been asking for this for months. That's exactly what we wanted. Really happy to see it coming into the game. Finally, we've got a bug with Flame Core, not igniting incendiary traps. I complained about this very much on my stream. This happened to me so often because I would never remember it stopped working. So I would try to drop a bunch of traps while I was winding up that Flame Core animation so that way people had the littlest amount of time, or rather the smallest amount of time to react as humanly possible. So really happy to see that being fixed. Definitely something Scorch needed to make him a more viable Titan. Next up, we have a small Legion nerf. The Hidden Compartment kit is now going to reduce the damage of each charge of Power Shot by 15%, so this is really, really, really good. I absolutely hated the double Power Shot meta for Legions for a long time because they would just walk up and press F, bleh, press F, bleh, and now half your health is gone while they have consumed 2 rounds of ammunition. It's really, really hard to deal with. It does way too much damage all at once, and I'm really happy that we're getting a small nerf to it because it's just going to make me less angry and make me enjoy the game more. And Legion is still going to be really, really powerful getting that burst damage in, but he's not going to be the insanity that he was before. Next up, we have Monarch. I don't understand a couple of these changes, just straight up. So the XO16's base magazine size has been increased from 30 to 40 rounds. I don't understand. I really don't understand. There was nothing wrong with her magazine at 30 rounds. 40 rounds is a gigantic buff for really no reason. I don't know why we got it. I think the reasoning, and this is only an assumption, is because they feel arc rounds was too ubiquitous and too strong, so they wanted to split up the benefits of that kit, but giving the 40 rounds as baseline is a little much. Like, maybe if you really wanted to do that, make it 35 instead of 40. I don't know. Those extra 5 rounds just seem to push the XO just a little bit over the top. Because the XO was supposed to be a small magazine size weapon. It's not supposed to be something that you can spray forever. But maybe my thoughts on how the Titan is supposed to be designed does not match up with how Respawn thinks it is. I mean, obviously it doesn't because they're making this change. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how this plays. But I think that it's going to make Monarch a little strong. Next up, we have a reducing of the slow effect on Energy Siphon. Good nerf. If you're making the XO16 so good, let's make the super lame slow effect that should not exist in FPS's period weaker. Good. Next up, we have a slightly reduced effectiveness of arc rounds against Vortex Shield and Heat Shield. I don't understand why arc rounds are being made worse against Vortex Shield. Ion is already the best Titan in the game, and in my opinion, and there needs to be something to help deal with her more effectively. I think arc rounds were fine previously versus Vortex Shield. However, arc rounds versus Heat Shield were BS. That is really, really good that we're no longer going to have the crazy arc round draining of the Heat Shield. There's still going to be some drain, but not as much, so that's good. Scorch does not need to be any weaker than he currently is, so any small buff is helpful and good. Multi-target missiles no longer lock on to cloak targets. You're going to see a lot of things like this in the patch notes where things no longer lock onto cloak targets, and you're going to be very confused by it. The reason being is that Frontier Defense has cloak drones, and the last thing that Respawn wants is for you to be able to lock onto a cloaked Titan when there is a cloak drone cloaking it. So that's the main reason. That is the main reason. It's the same thing that's going to happen for the Smart Pistol as well, where you're not going to be able to lock on to cloaked grunt level enemies. So you have to kill that cloak drone manually before you can use your lock-on abilities to kill the other targets. So that's all that is. Next up, we have some aim assist changes for assault rifles and SMGs. These are now going to require you to be aiming closer to your target before the ADS assist takes effect. So what that means is that when you pull your left trigger or your L2, if your crosshair was near somebody, not quite on them, but near them, there was a certain distance away, and it was like a sphere drawn from the center of that pilot's body. where you would essentially just have your aim instantly pulled to the center of that person, much like Call of Duty 4 campaign mode ADSing, right? This didn't happen in the multiplayer, but it did happen in the campaign, where you just get near something, pull left trigger, and it would just lock your aim onto the center of that target. So the most correct way to play that game in campaign was to just mash your left trigger over and over so that the game would aimbot for you. Now, what they're making it do is essentially they're just compressing that circle down a little bit. They're compressing that sphere. So you have to be more accurate. You have to have your crosshair actually on the target now, for the most part, when you pull that left trigger to get that instant aimbot lock-on like you do get. ARs and SMGs require aiming closer to the target. Oh yeah, so that's pretty much it. What's the next note here? Reduce the overall effectiveness of ADS assist for assault rifles. So that is going to be the tracking on assault rifles, so it's not going to track quite as hard. You're going to have to work a little bit harder with your right thumbstick to actually continue aiming correctly at somebody. It's not going to lock as hard. Also, there was a change to the Titan Hunter kit, which is actually, I don't know why they didn't just release the kit like this, but they removed the last hit mechanic, which was really, really stupid. So before, you needed to get the last hit on a Titan to get the 10% meter boost. Now, it's just whenever you do damage to a Titan and you gain Titan meter from that damage, it just happens 10% faster, much like the Energy Thief kit. I think it's Energy Thief. No, I don't remember. Whatever that one kit from Monarch is that makes your core charge faster. Maybe it is Energy Thief. I don't know. But whatever that kit is, it's basically that effect, but on this pilot kit. So really, really nice. Phase shift, nerfed, one charge, good. Screw phase shift, hate phase shift. I'm happy about it. SMGs. Medium and long range damage significantly reduced. This is healthy for the game. This is pretty healthy for the game, honestly. At least on PC. SMGs ran the show. The alternator was way too strong. The R97 was way too strong at range. In particular, for both of them. The car was a little too strong at range. The Volt is fine. So as long as they have made those changes to those 3 SMGs and left the Volt alone, I'm happy. If they nerf the Volt, then what the heck, respawn? What to heck, respawn? One of the positive changes we saw on the high TK playlist, blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, whatever. So aim assist nerfs, damage nerfs at medium and long range only. Cool. So SMGs are going to retain their effectiveness at close range, but longer range, you're going to have to put some more bullets on target, and that way they're going to make assault rifles feel a little bit more useful. So it's a good change for PC players because assault rifles did not see very much play in a lot of the cases. You pretty much just saw across the board all the really good players using SMGs, except for a few people who would play really far back and really defensively with rifles. Like, not many people did that though. Most are SMG mains 90% of the time, as they kind of should be based on how the game plays. So this is going to be a very, very big shakeup on the PC platform. One thing that's really important to note, though, is that the Spitfire, or rather the LMGs in general, did not receive any aim assist nerfs. So, assault rifles are worse now, SMGs are worse now, LMGs are the same. The Spitfire was already really good. If you look at previous console tournaments, Spitfires were limited to 1 per team because they were too strong. They didn't get nerfs in this patch. Everyone should be playing the Spitfire, in my opinion. Like, if you want to be a filthy meta slave and you want to play the strongest gun, the Spitfire might actually be it. Like, it's gonna be competitive. It's gonna be really fun. So, you guys should try it out. Just a tip from your old Uncle Ern. Just Spitfire might be all right. Give it a shot. It's already good before this patch. It's already strong. Who knows what it's gonna be like once there's no more aim assist, or rather less aim assist. It's gonna be really good, probably. Try it. G2 got a reduced fire rate. I don't understand this change, really. I mean, I guess it makes the G2 a little bit worse at close range, but you were already not firing the G2 at max rate of fire at long range. You were already slowing it down to continue having good accuracy. Unless you're a console player and you have that aimbot and you just mash, and you just delete people, which is exactly why everybody hates the G2 on console. It's the aim assist, not the damage, not the gun stats. It's just the aim assist. So this is a weird change to me. I think that it's going to possibly help those mash controller players do better with the G2 because they're not going to have all that recoil to deal with. So with less aim assist but also less recoil, they're going to still be in a pretty decent spot. So I'm afraid that with the way they're changing SMGs, the way they're actually kind of killing SMGs on console, and the way that they're both nerfing assault rifles but still managing to keep the G2 strong at the same time. It's a very, very strange dichotomy to me, and I'm really interested to see what console players end up feeling about the G2 in this patch. I'm kind of afraid that it's still going to be too strong because of this change. Now, the reduced fire rate will help at close range. It's less mashy and less likely to kill people at close range, so that's good, but reduced fire rate at long range does equate to a reduced recoil as well. They're going to have more time for that gun to resettle, so I don't know. The same thing happened to the DMR, reduced fire rate. I don't understand that, really. Like, let the gun have the higher fire rate for close range, and then if people mash at long range and they can't hit anything, that's their fault for playing dumb. They should control their fire rate, but I guess that's too much to ask of players, and Respawn is changing that so that way the players who can't be bothered to control their fire rate and want to cosplay as snipers but have no trigger discipline can now be forcibly given some trigger discipline. So, okay, cool, whatever. Flatline. Slightly reduced damage at medium range. Okay, I don't know. Nobody uses flatline on PC at all. Literally nobody. The recoil is garbage. Makes the gun awful. Console aim assist makes it actually usable. So a lot of people are complaining, at least they were complaining about the flatline being too strong, so maybe a damage nerf will actually help that. I don't know. Not really sure. I don't ever see this gun used because it's garbage on PC. Archer. No longer locks into cloak targets. Frontier defense change. Smart pistol. No longer locks into cloak targets. Well, that's interesting because pilots in regular modes can have cloak. So does the smart pistol not lock onto them either? That's actually very interesting. It makes actually no difference in the grand scheme of things because so few people use smart pistol and so few people use cloak. It's probably not a big deal at all if it doesn't happen anymore, and it makes for a nice hard counter to smart pistol, which should exist because screw the smart pistol. So yeah, I'm cool with that, I guess. Sidearms nerfed across the board. That's fine. Mozambique too strong. Wingman Elite questionable. Regular Wingman was definitely too strong. P2016. I mean, no one used it, but it was very, very strong with amped weapons. It was a 2-shot anywhere and a 1-shot headshot with an effective range. Like, the amped P2016 was stupid. So, really happy to see that that's coming down and becoming more reasonable. Even though nobody uses it, it's just one of those sleeper weapons where it's actually really good, but nobody even knows. Melee nerfs, finally. So we have the lunge is going to be made a little bit slower, so hopefully it'll make it a little bit more consistent on actually getting those last couple of shots on people when they're lunging to you so you can get that kill and they don't kill you. Really cool. The lunge range has been reduced, and then the non-lunge melee attack range increased. So basically, those really close range melees where you don't even lunge to people and you hit the button, but you just completely whiff on people and it's so confusing. They've made that work a little bit more easily, a little bit more consistently now, so those situations should not feel like you're flailing. They should be a little bit more consistent and reliable, so that's really, really cool. Game mode adjustments, we have various improvements to the UI for Private Match, including increased visibility of text chat on PC. Let me say that again. Increased visibility of text chat on PC. In Private Match, in the UI for Private Match, there is no text chat on PC. So, I don't know if this is a meme or they're trying to make a joke and saying that by increasing the visibility, it's going from no visibility to some visibility and it's going to actually exist now. That would be sick. But maybe they mean that in-game they're making the text chat larger, which does not need to happen. I mean, I play on 1440p, which is a pretty high DPI, and the text is still very legible. And I'm a person that blows up my screen, so text is large, and my old man eyes can read them. But this seems like I'm not complaining about this change. I just don't know what prompted it, and this just seems like a joke to me. Not like oh, it's a joke, this is terrible, like as in like a haha funny joke, the text chat has no visibility because it doesn't exist, so they increase visibility. Get it? I don't know. This makes me laugh. Otherwise, a couple of miscellaneous bug fixes. Couple of miscellaneous bug fixes. They fixed some issues with purchasable nose arts not showing up correctly on Titans, so I think that mostly has to do with the Prime Titans and how the nose arts are just completely wonky on some of them, so looks like they've improved some. Very, very nice. Spectators and Marked for Death can no longer be marked. What? Spectators and Marked for Death could be marked for death? Oh my god, Respawn. So that's good. That's got fixed, I guess. Okay, looks like Xbox One got a change. Titan Nose Arts flag as Advocate Gifts unlocks may now actually be awarded. Oh my god, this is the big patch note right here. So you guys don't even know. There have been Nose Arts for Titans that have been in the game since day one that nobody has. There's 2 for each Titan because they're locked behind Advocate Gifts, and there was a bug where those drops were not on the drop tables, so nobody has them. So as of today, you guys are going to be in a race to be the first one to get those Advocate Gift Nose Arts for your original 6 Titans. Unbelievable. It finally got changed. Thank you, Respawn. I love you. With that, guys, that is the end of our patch notes here. So thank you so much for watching. I'm sure that by the time this goes live and you're seeing this, the patch is already going to be live or very, very close to live. So hope you guys are able to get your downloads ready and rare in there. I'll see you online. I'll be streaming this as well. As soon as it goes live, I'll be turning my stream on, and we'll be doing that for a few hours. So I will see you guys there. Thanks for watching, and I don't have an outro, so bye.